she's trying to raise to get you a budget of 150 million or whatever. And then the
Are those two there? Are those
office
people that are working in there?
which is kind of a tell.
Jody's office is right next
Kind of
door.
what we're at.
Jerry Lee's on the other side.
Oh, Jody's not going to be at the youth event center anymore?
Huh?
Well, as soon as she can get her stuff moved.
Okay, yeah.
She's down there
Saw her
right
on
now.
Friday.
She's down
She
there
was
right now working out.
in the storage room.
Right, that's, when we're keeping that. by the
Don't
way.
make fun of our storage room.
No, I wasn't.
That's our de facto office.
Don't deprive me of my fun.
That's been a heck of an offer for us.
And that's fine.
It's 9 o'clock.
Okay. That's as good as I got today. Court will come to order. It is Monday, July the 27th, 2026. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, and the Kerr County Court is in session here at the Kerrville Municipal Court Building in lieu of our courthouse. And with that, if you would, please stand for me for the prayer and the pledge, which will be led by Commissioner Holt.
We don't have our flags yet.
Yeah,
We
we
don't
turned
have-
around and looked.
His guys are bringing them over.
Probably closest flag, we're gonna look this way. All right, towards where we know the largest flags are. It's awkward, but yeah, let's just do it together. We're gonna say that prayer first. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for the opportunity to gather today. It's been such a journey with a repeat of a flood, and of course that's what's on our minds as we all drove in for Commissioner's Court today. That we can have your continued strength, that remember that all things and decisions that we make should be guided by your influence and your word, and that some really tough decisions over the next year, we reflect what's most important, which is for the acting on the good of the people within our constituency. And we pray for the recovery of those that have lost a lot of personal or even lives over the last year. It still hurts them every day when they wake up and see an empty bed. That's what we reflect on today, and that this agenda advances our cause, which is recovery. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. This way, if you can. We're going to look towards
Exit sign.
yeah, the exit sign, which is towards the main flag, which I know which is there on our courthouse and city. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Yeah. Thank you all for that.
Please be seated. Okay, everyone take a deep breath. We're here. This next part of this, make sure the phones are still, phone etiquette is still in place. Please turn them to vibrate or off so they don't interrupt the proceedings. We have one person that signed up for public input. This is the part of the agenda where we listen to the public tell us things that we need to know. And we welcome this opportunity. So with that, I have Ms. Pettifils. And this is, believe it or not, the podium. You can stand on this side of it or that side of it, but that picks up the YouTube. And let me just plug, Louis Amestoy is providing the YouTube services for us at this point, and that will be posted online. So Ms. Pettifils, you may proceed.
I'm Robbie Pettiface, Redbird Loop, Precinct 202 Chair. And I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware that we have fans and dehumidifiers and cleaning supplies, anything that's needed for cleaning out and getting your place dried out. At Annie's Helping Hands has got the Red Roof building at the Historical Park and Center Point. There are some other places, but also wanted to make sure that businesses and residents need to fill out the ISAC forms. And if you don't know how to do that or you have problems with the QR code, we have people there at the park that'll help you. And we're gonna be there this week and next week from 9 to 5. So I just wanted everyone to know that.
Okay.
And the address is 310 FM 480.
The address is 310 FM
480.
480. It's right at Main Street in Center Point.
I know we're not allowed to.
This is going to be an awkward Commissioners Court meeting. I'm going to defer Commissioners' comments until we get back to the information agenda. I think we're going to have a lot of comments made before we get there, so I think they're going to be made out through the course of the proceeding. So with that, we'll move on to the consideration agenda. And item 1.1 is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action on a request from the Kerrville Triathlon to close various roads on Sunday, September the 27th for the triathlon. Mr. Carroll, is he here?
Looked like from an email that we might defer that to the next meeting.
Okay,
I don't know.
I haven't seen the email, but
That's what it says.
so we'll pass on that for the time being. Let's move on to item 1.2. Consider, discuss, take appropriate action following a status update regarding the July 16, 2026 flood. Where, in God's name, do we begin? First of all, I think I have to report that we'll be talking about the flood off and on all morning, I'm sure. But the first thing we have to do is just recognize where we are. We are here in the municipal court building that belongs to the city. And it is on loan. It has been offered to us to purchase if need be. But we have relocated the Commissioners Court here for the time being. I don't think there's any surprise about this, but the county courthouse was flooded and it's closed. And the status on that is the flood was up, I believe, I was told about 7 feet in the downstairs area. And it has since been successfully pumped out. Okay. And we're dealing with contaminated water in the bottom of it that we needed to pump out. And it has, it's like cause and effect. The nastiness downstairs has caused problems upstairs. And the elevator is inoperable. It's going to probably have to be replaced. For those of you that have never worked with an elevator company, get ready. We work at their pleasure. When they're available, they'll let us know. That could be 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months. We don't know. The significance of that is that without an elevator, we have no access for the public. The basement is already closed. Everybody has that, right? It's closed off, and it's contaminated, and we're in the process of working on it. And just so you know, when I talked to the contractor, our catastrophe contractor, I'd never had a catastrophe contractor before, but that's what we have, the Gerloff Company. When I talked with them last week, their initial estimate had been a week or two before we could get to the first floor. As of the conversation last week, we were at least a month. And you can quote that, at least a month. Does that mean more than 1 month? Probably. In this kind of situation, we just have to plan on that. The first floor will be accessible at some point, but we have to have certain clearances. One has to do with asbestos in the building. That has to be certified that it's safe to be there. Number 2 will be mold. Mold sets in very quickly. We're already struggling with it. It is a work in progress with the catastrophe contractor as we speak. But we're not going to be able to put people back on the first floor until we have that under control. And then lastly, is very subjective, not objective. The first 2 things I talked to you about can be objectively determined. A certificate on the asbestos and some kind of certification from the contractor with regard to the mold. But the next one has to do with we have all kinds of things coming in. Okay.
Sorry, Judge, I was told to walk to the podium.
Okay, very good.
If it's okay to provide a recovery update
Well,
Yes.
when he's done,
for July 16th.
Yeah, let him finish.
Okay.
let
I
the
appreciate y'all.
judge finish.
He's not done yet.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
We'll come back to that. This is Shory Harmon, who is our emergency management coordinator, and who has been a lifesaver through all this, and we definitely want to hear from him. But let me kind of finish giving the lay of the land so we can figure out where we are.
He's chomping at the bit.
And he's ready to go. Isn't that great? Back to the courthouse. In the 33 years that I've lived in Kerr County, this is the first time I ever remember the basement of the courthouse being flooded. So this, I'm looking at Rosa Lavender. She's giving me
It's never been flooded.
it's never been flooded. So we're charting new territory. But I was talking about the first floor. The first floor offices will be occupied. We hope to have them within a month. Remember, said at least a month. Have people back on the first floor after certification of asbestos clearance, after certification of mold, and then the third test, the third prong that I've instituted is, and you'll love this one, the smell test. I don't have a good sniffer, and I admit that. If it's really strong, I can smell it. If it's not, you need to tell me what I'm smelling. And so we're going to have a panel, probably of women, and that's a compliment, not a criticism, I want you to understand, to tell us when it smells good enough, acceptable enough to move people back in. And I talked this over with the catastrophe contractor. We're all on the same page that, and if you haven't been in the courthouse since the flood, we have struggled back and forth with little missions to get our phones and computers and stuff out. But it stinks, and it's going to stink for a while. And so in order to be able to get the employees back into work on the first floor, in order to be able to get access to the public to be able to come back into the courthouse, we have to pass those three tests: asbestos, mold, smell. That's for the first floor only. And for those of you that are, and I'm going to kind of do this by floor, I think we've got to talk about the relocation. There's a lot to cover here. But the people on the first floor of the Commissioner's Court is now here. We made arrangements with the city. We're grateful to them. They've offered for us to purchase the building. We may seriously consider that. I don't know. In any event, this is where the Commissioner's Court is. And in a moment, walking through that door will be our boss, Jody Grinstead, who's over at the Youth Event Center as we speak. But she has been moving as fast as any human being can, I can tell you, to keep us afloat. Her office will be here, just around the corner here. That's where she will be. And I'm talking about people on the first floor now. The county clerk's office is presently closed, and it is over at the Youth Event Center. For those of you that have not been there, that is open to the public, and it is in the I guess that would be the West Bay,
Far west side.
far west side, right by the entrance on the corner, the hallway where the restrooms are. That's where the county clerk's office is currently, and it is up and running as of actually I think late last week, but officially this morning. Also on the first floor is the tax office, and help me out. Where is the tax
West
office?
Kerr Annex.
West Kerr Annex. We moved it all the way out west at Bob Reed's request.
They were already set up anyway out there.
I see movement in the courtroom, and I'm trying to figure out.
Now there's a water
Judge,
delivery.
we have
Nothing-
deliveries
not
coming
important.
into the building and.
A what?
I have deliveries coming into the building and so I think
Yeah,
that they're
it's
just
no big deal.
about where they need to go.
Okay,
Okay,
I got
we'll get
Okay.
used to it.
it. We will.
pardon the interruptions. He's got an annex office out there at the West Annex in in Ingram, and is already set up out there. The county court at law, Judge Harris at her facility. They're at the
Juvenile
juvenile.
detention.
They need help.
Update that real time. Susan Mickelson is going to be at the Ag Barn. Kelly will be, she'll be working remotely from home, and then Judge Harris will be kind of in and out between home and the Ag Barn.
Okay, now,
It's real time information.
okay.
Sorry.
Things are fluid.
So she's,
That's changed, and the AC was bad.
okay. And again, I apologize for this disjointed report, but we just have to get the information out. And for those of you that can't see and don't know who just spoke, this is Corey Tennis. And perhaps this is the time for me to introduce the players here before we go to where everybody is. But Corey Tennis is our IT director who oversaw this massive relocation. And I'm telling you, it truly was massive. And performed outstandingly. I can't tell you his department. Without them, we would still be closed today. We would not be here. And so as I look around the room, there are a number of people that participated in the relocation plan, which took a major burden off of my shoulders. And they collaborated to a tacit agreement among the various departments to end up where they've ended up. And so what you're hearing now with regard to I see more and more people coming in. I just get more distracted. The people that were involved with the relocation, in charge was, of course, Jody Grinstead, who is our court coordinator for the Commissioner's Court. She oversaw this process in conjunction with our county attorney, Heather Stebbins, also with our county treasurer, Tracy Solden. I don't believe she's here in the courtroom today. Others involved in that process were, of course, Sylvia Zapata, our HR director. She was kind of one of the traffic cops in who could go where. We also had, I think from upstairs, Tanya Shelton, our auditor, was involved in the process. And the tech side of it was overseen by Corey Tennis. Who am I leaving out? I mean, a lot of people at that table.
You and Tom.
Well, Tom,
Only others, I think.
okay, me and Tom. There's a song in there somewhere, I think.
Ilda was there with us.
Ilda, yeah. But he is still the commissioner of precinct 1. I want you to know that is his legal official title. But he is the de facto assistant county judge. We have worked hand in hand, have consulted with one another pretty much at every decision-making juncture. And he has taken on enormous responsibilities. And so he is, for all practical purposes, my de facto emergency management, assistant emergency management director. And that's kind of what we've done. And if I'm not there, he'll be there. If he's not there, if I'm not there, you need to call me to come, because one of us needs to be in one of those places. And we set in on this process as well. And ultimately, the decision to do this was mine. I had to make the decision as the county judge. All of the things that we're talking about moving and where they went and why. And that we interrupted with the change in where the county court of law is. And just to repeat, it's if you have questions for the county court of law, you go to the Hill Country Youth Event Center, and they'll direct you from there. And then that's pretty much the first floor. Our problem with the second floor is not the contamination, it's the access. The Americans with Disability Act requires that the public have access to all public offices that are open. Without an elevator, we do not have access to the second floor. So for the want of the nail, the kingdom was lost, right? We can't use the second floor because of what's happened in the basement. And until we get the elevator fixed, we won't be able to get them up there. They are located over at Hill Country Youth Event Center in the large classroom over on the other side of the building, the east side of the building, back where the restrooms are and the concession facility back there in the corner. They're on that side. And in that same room with them are the district courts from, well, wait a minute, I'm getting confused. We're talking
District clerk.
District clerk is upstairs, or is it at the west side?
Inside.
And with them are the district courts staff and the district judges. And they have a curtain partition between them, which, as you know, is not a lot of privacy for the matters that they work on, but that is the best that we've been able to do, and they're located together as evacuees from the second floor. Who have I left out, guys?
Pretty close.
It's all on our website.
It's on the website, but it's trying to give a status report of how we've relocated. We do have people over at the old juvenile probation department facility, and we had the treasurer over there. She's still there.
She's at 550 right now.
She's moved.
She will be there
We'll discuss
eventually.
about the people that at 550. That's a good reminder. But we had. I'm trying to remember who else did we have over there with her?
At 550?
No, at the youth events at the juvenile facility.
Judge Harris is there.
Judge Harris, but she's in and out.
Okay, so she's temporarily relocated. So we don't have anybody there right now,
Waiting on AC,
huh?
waiting on AC for the juvenile building.
But they're responding to emails and calls as best they can.
Okay, is everybody hearing that? We don't have AC in the juvenile facility over there, which is prohibitive. But we don't have anyone in there right now. So, and then we have 550 Earl Garrett. Y'all remember some years back we bought the property there at 550 Earl Garrett as well as 600, the adjacent lot next to Morris Jewelries, as well as the parking lot across the street behind the old police station. And at 550, we have the auditor's offices there. Trying to remember who all the
Treasurer,
treasurer's there.
JP3's functionality moved in on the bottom floor. HR's also there as well. Veteran Services continues to operate out of there, and the OSSF
Environmental.
operates out of there. And then, yes.
Crime victims.
Yeah, and then the victims advocates, thank you. The crime victims are also moved
Great
in.
work.
So we've got plenty of room up there. IT
And the grand
has
portal.
not moved in there, and I support that decision to remain in Hill Country Youth Event Center. But I think that is everyone that's moved in.
and Noel.
Yeah,
The grant coordinator is over at 550, right?
correct.
Yes.
Noel's up there up top, second
No.
floor.
So no one's going to remember all of that, right? So that's why it's on the website. And if you have questions, just call or check in.
Judge, I think we left one out, maybe
Which?
I'm wrong. Precinct 1,
JP.
JP.
They're on the
It's in-
first floor.
Yeah, it's at the Ag Building, the Event Center on the west side. And the Constable.
And right around the corner there is where IT is, by the way. So, believe it or not, we successfully completed the musical chairs and relocated everyone at the courthouse. The ones that you haven't heard about are working from home. I see our public information officer over here. She's not been provided an office at this point, but still working from home.
She's at 550 Earl Garrett.
So she's technically at 550 Earl Garrett. Okay. So, by way of status report, that was the decision to evacuate the courthouse and where we've relocated them. The time period that we're looking at here is a minimum of a month, probably to get back to the first floor, probably a year or more to get in the basement. And the elevator issue with the second floor is not determined, but we expect it to be somewhere around probably 6 weeks to 6 months.
For our older audience, this is clear as who's on first.
Yep.
But and then we have all the other offices that have not relocated. Like I look here, Animal Services is over in its new facility. They haven't relocated. Road and Bridge is at their facility. Engineering is at their facility. For those looking for Shory, who we're going to have talk to us in just a minute, he was in the basement at the courthouse, or the lower level, as the ADA tells us we're supposed to call it these days. And he is over with the engineering department at Road and Bridge building. Everything that was in West Kerr County remains out there. Is there anybody else that we've left out?
That's got it. I think
We
it's
got
pretty
it.
close.
It's kind of a handful. Pardon?
Indigent health.
Indigent Health is with HR, and that's at 550. Okay, let's catch your breath. That's the first thing I have to report on the status. We are up and running, and we are here, and we are public, and we will be on YouTube, courtesy of Louis Amestoy and Kerr County Lead. Other than that, the status. I think probably from a bird's eye view, or even maybe from a jetliner view at 35,000 feet, we are still here, and we are recovering. One of the things that I would share with you is that this flood is nothing like the flood we had a year ago. A year ago, we had an unknown blindside 50-foot wall of water devastate our community, come right roaring right down that river and taking everything in its path. This one was different. The rainfall last time occurred out on the divide, on all that impervious cover, all that rock. For those of you that don't know the divide, know what we're talking about. And then drained down all the little draws and everything into the river, and then came down the South Fork in the South Canyon. And that's what hit us. This rain did not fall out on the divide. This rain fell on us. This was pretty much right over us. And the last count I heard is that we had average 28.5 inches of rain that fell on us. And pretty much, for lack of a better geographic description for you, pretty much the city limits and adjacent to the city limits. Pretty much centralized right in this area is where the rainfall fell. And in the last flood, the river rose and destroyed property as it got higher. This flood did not do that. This flood came from the runoff water. And for those of you that are here, know exactly what we're talking about. The runoff water came from everywhere. The one thing that I did not mention that was flooded and is not relocated is over at the sheriff's office. Their training room actually had water running through it, which is when we moved the EOC, the Emergency Operations Center, from the training room at the sheriff's office over to the Youth Event Center, because we knew that the proportion, the size and proportion of the disaster was going to be that great. But and all of that's history. That took place Thursday morning at 3:30. We've come a long way since Thursday morning at 3:30. But there is remediation going on in that facility. But the water drained down, and in my comments about never having seen the basement flooded in my 3 decades here, the water did not come up from the river to get to the basement. The water came down off the hillsides and the streets to get in that basement, and it splashed over the curb. And that's why we have the extent of property damage that we do. All things considered, we have significantly more damage to the infrastructure than we did in the last flood. You know, when it rains, it pours, right? So we have a completely different type flood with completely different damages for completely different reasons, and yet here we are, fighting our second flood in 1 year. So with that, I think it's time to hear where we are with that recovery process.
Could I ask you one question? There's been a lot of confusion about whether there's a national disaster declaration. Can you clarify that situation? Because people are concerned whether there will be FEMA funding or not.
Would you like me to?
Or,
Yeah.
All right, so we did get a presidential declaration, but it was for Category B only. That's where the confusion seems to be. I did post something on that last night. Category B is strictly for disaster, emergency repair for our roads and bridges and things of that nature, to where we could go in, not for permanent repairs, but for temporary only. That's the only declaration we have, and that's the reason you've heard all these folks around here talking about getting this ISTAT filled out. We have to prove our case. Even though the first flood was 85% riparian, this flood is going to be mainly homes, businesses, that type of destruction, which is a lot greater than we've ever seen. And so they jumped right to the hoops to help us in the first flood, but this time, I guess maybe just because there's so many counties involved, they're being very cautious, and we're pretty optimistic we will get the PA side, the public, pushed through, but we're very apprehensive about whether or not we're going to get the ISTAT through for individual assistance. And so that's the reason it's critically important that you get those filed if you have any damage.
No matter how little.
No matter how little. So we can get that pushed through Washington and get the assistance that we need here. That help?
yes, thank you. What about private roads? Would that Should that be
Yes.
reported in ISTAT?
Everything.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And so, by comparison, we did have a federal declaration from the president in the last flood. This flood, we have a partial declaration, or I call it a partial declaration, and it's for emergency response, pretty much. So just think of it as it's in response to the emergency, then it's covered by FEMA. And when you hear terms like ISTAT and PSTAT, PSTAT is for public infrastructure issues, recovery issues. I is for individual. So when you hear ISTATs, because this is a runoff flood, you're going to have a lot more individual claims. We need to substantiate those individual claims with the filing of the ISTATs, what we get to submit to FEMA and to the authorities to qualify for any further relief. So that's just by way of explanation where we are with that. Now, with that, we have had emergency response, and it's my great pleasure and pride to introduce Shori Harmon, who we actually hired away from TDM, Texas Department of Emergency Management. And for those of you that don't know, he is a graduate of their academy and had been worked with us as a county liaison prior to this, and has stepped in and is doing a wonderful job. You would go ahead and give us our update.
Yes, sir. Morning, Judge, Commissioners. I apologize for interrupting earlier. Hopefully I'm not wearing out my new guy card too soon. So I'd like to start by taking a second to say thank you to all partners currently supporting recovery efforts from July 16th flooding event. Kerr County continues coordinated recovery operations following the recent flooding with local, state, federal, nonprofit, faith-based, and private sector partners working together to restore essential services and assist impacted residents. The Emergency Operations Center, the EOC, remains activated to coordinate recovery operations, resource requests, infrastructure restoration, and community support. Damage assessments remain a top priority. Kerr County, in partnership with the Texas Division of Emergency Management and Kerr together, continues conducting individual State of Texas assessment tool, that's the ISTAT, and public State of Texas assessment tool, PSTAT surveys. There are currently 1,501 ISTAT submissions to include 47 destroyed and 310 major structures. And 59 PSTAT have been entered into the TDM assessment portal so far. And it is an ongoing process. So please continue to submit your ISTAT and PSTATs. Additional ISTAT and PSTAT entries continue daily. Assessment data is being used to identify unmet needs, prioritize recovery resources, and support requests for state and federal assistance. Ingram ISD has sustained flood damage, and we are currently working with them to submit a PSTAT, along with assisting getting them ready for school opening in a few weeks. For infrastructure, I know Road and Bridge is going to cover a big section of that, but I'll touch a little bit on it. County Road and Bridge personnel continue working alongside the Texas Department of Transportation and TCEQ to inspect bridges, dams, and roadways impacted by flooding. Infrastructure assessments remain ongoing, with PSTAT reporting continuing to support recovery planning. ISTF, Incident Support Task Force members from TDM, are also supporting this operation with drone assistance. Flood damage to the Kerr County Courthouse that the judge mentioned required relocation of county operations. Essential government services continue from the Hill Country Youth Event Center, while restoration efforts are underway at the courthouse. County offices will stagger openings between July 23rd of last week through today. So I'll touch a little bit on debris removal. Public information campaigns are being conducted to provide residents with guidance regarding debris separation and placement. That is still an ongoing conversation for the county. TxDOT is actually beginning today with implementing their debris pickup plan. They're starting on Highway 39 and I can't remember the other one, but they're starting today, and they're only picking up vegetative debris.
Right
So-
now.
Right now, yes, sir. So for long-term recovery operations, Kerr Together, our long-term recovery group, serves as the community recognized coordinating body for long-term recovery in Kerr County and Comfort. Working alongside Kerr County, TDM, voluntary organizations, faith-based partners, nonprofit organizations, and private sector, Kerr County Long-Term Recovery Group coordinates recovery resources, reduces duplication of services, and helps ensure assistance reaches impacted households and businesses. Current recovery efforts include coordination of voluntary organizations active in disasters, it's our VOADs, individual survivor intake and unmet needs coordination, volunteer management and deployment, material donation management, business recovery assistance, community data collection and recovery tracking. Global Empowerment Mission, GEM, is serving as a fiscal sponsor and operational partner, and they have coordinated approximately 200 spontaneous volunteers while working alongside corporate partners including HEB, Whataburger, James Avery, Frost Bank, and more than 20 church partners, and numerous volunteer organizations. Multiple disaster recovery centers continue supporting residents throughout the county with organizations providing case management, muck out and debris removal, feeding operations, shelter support. More than 50, less than 100 individuals utilized the shelter early in the disaster. And last week I reactivated the shelter, considering a lot of folks seem to have a need for a place due to damaged homes.
And the location of that is at Calvary
It's
Temple.
Calvary Temple, yes sir. And they also provide shower and laundry services, chaplain services, legal assistance, business recovery assistance, crisis response, volunteer coordination, and long-term rebuilding assistance.
And that's long-term recovery too?
Yes, sir.
And that's at 98 Coronado.
98 Coronado.
So everybody knows where we have facilities, where we have operations.
So for community support,
The boss just came in.
So speaking of Calvary Temple, they continue to operate as a daytime relief center, providing food, rest, air conditioning for space for residents to escape if the need arises. The facility also remains prepared to transition into a fully activated shelter should the conditions require. So for current needs, recovery partners continue identifying and addressing unmet needs throughout the county. Current priorities include additional disaster case managers, caseworkers, resource coordination personnel, long-term recovery funding, dehumidifiers and industrial fans, mold remediation equipment, temporary and long-term sheltering resources, continued volunteer support. So in summary, Kerr County remains fully committed to a coordinated whole community recovery effort through close collaboration with TDM, Kerr Together, voluntary organizations, state and federal partners, and local stakeholders. Recovery operations continue to evolve as community needs are identified. This coordinated approach ensures resources are efficiently deployed, essential government services remain available, and residents receive both immediate assistance and long-term recovery support. And if there are no questions, that's the end of my report.
Any questions?
No, Todd Box here, you might want to see if he got something to add to
Okay.
on recovery.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Todd? I don't know if you expected to speak to us or not, but we'd like to hear from you if you would.
Thank you, Judge and Court. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you, Shorey, Todd Bach,
There you go. Go ahead.
Kerr EDC, Kerr Together, Long-Term Recovery. insurance report of the ISTATs. What I would like to bring to everyone's attention, Judge, is at the end of that ISTAT form, there is a box that allows for sharing the data in which you have entered into the ISTAT. I would encourage everyone to please allow your information to be shared. That assists the long-term recovery, TDM, Rebuild, Kerr, and our partners and our VOADs. You will transfer, your information will transfer from ISTAT into what's a TCR database, and that TCR database will allow us to track those specific needs that were taken in by the ISTAT and have the volunteer organizations after disaster, our VOADs, to actually take those work orders that are created. And what we have is some of the individuals, well, a significant amount, have checked, do not share my information. That information is kept obviously amongst those that need that information. That is TDM, that is Kerr Together. We are trying to coordinate a call source or a center in a way to go back and reach those that have selected do not share my information. We actually need that information to pair you with the resources that you have requested within the ISTAT form. So please, those ISTAT forms being filled out going forward, please allow that information to be shared. When I leave here, Judge, I'll be going back with TDM and others to go and formulate a process in which we can reach back out to those that have selected do not share my information.
A couple of things. TCR, VOAD, these are acronyms that people are not familiar with. Could you just share what they are?
Yes, sir. The VOAD is volunteer organizations after disaster that actually come into our community and offer the services, the cutting the sheetrock, debris removal, muck and gut, mold remediation, and we do have those organizations on the ground. We are currently soliciting additional volunteer organizations through TDM's help, through Jake, which is the volunteer organization liaison for TDM. And again, as soon as I leave here, we will go back and formulate a plan in which we can go back and recontact those organizations that selected do not share my information.
And just by way of clarification, since you're at the podium, so as it is, the long-term recovery group is a product of the first flood.
Yes, sir.
And the KEDC was instrumental in standing it up. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And one of the unique advantages, if you can call this an advantage, that we have with this flood is that infrastructure is already stood up and ready to go, and you're already working with TDM in processing issues with regard to the second flood.
Yes, sir. A lot of familiar faces.
And,
unfortunately, and I say this, fortunately, unfortunately, we're experienced.
Right.
And that has helped out a lot. That has helped out with these ISTAT forms. I have sat with TDM and they have seen numbers that we have collected 7 days post-disaster that they haven't seen in 20 years of being with TDM. A lot of that is a result of obviously our partners and Kerr Together already being stood up and having the knowledge this time that we didn't have last time. And Judge, I do want to share as we continue to assess 2026, I want all those to know that were affected in 2025. You have not been forgotten. You are still in our system, and you are our mission, is to continue to work with those. We were not anywhere close to being finished with recovery in 2025. We're just currently in response mode for 26, and we'll remain in recovery for 2025.
That's an interesting point, though. Please clarify that, because a lot of people had damage in 25, and they were just getting back into their homes in 26, and bingo,
Yes,
they
sir.
were probably all flooded again. So they do need to fill out a new ISTAT form, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you were affected in 2025 and re-affected in 26, we need your 26 information. Please fill out the ISTAT form, and please select the box to allow your data to be shared.
Worried about personal data.
Yes, sir. It is, and I understand that completely. But in order for the internal long-term recovery group and TDM and the volunteer organizations to deploy those assets, we have to share that with those volunteer organizations in order for them to take those work orders, and they will go into the TCR. And Judge, apologize, I can't remember what TCR stood for, but it's a back-end product that very limited people have access to. Shori is one of those. It's we do not take lightly sharing that information, but we have to have the VOAD's capability and the resources that we can deploy, from case management all the way to muck and gut to all the volunteer services that are needed, have to submit and take those work orders, and then we can track and make sure that no one is left out. Right now, we've got to get that I agree to share my data in the system to fully fill out that TCR so that we can deploy those assets and resources.
And just by way of information, you are the executive director of KEDC, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I serve on that board with you.
Yes,
I have
sir.
served with you in years past. When we first began the 25 flood recovery and got organized through your leadership, we were advised that we were probably 6 months to a year ahead of most other communities in responding to flood damage, flood catastrophe. And I just wanted to confirm that with you so the public knows that we jumped on the first one and we were actually ahead of the game. Now,
Yes, sir.
with this flood, your organization, your infrastructure is already in place this time. It is open, operating over at Coronado, 98 Coronado.
98 Coronado.
And as of last week, TDM has made arrangements with you for some sort of involvement with long-term recovery in your facility. Is that correct?
They're in our building and have been, sir. Yes, sir.
So 25 and 26 are at that location. If you have a problem with either one of them, you know where to
Either
go.
one. Yes,
And,
sir.
and
Judge.
we are open for business and running hard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anything else?
Thank you.
I'm just gonna comment that, yeah, I know you know a lot, you wear a lot of different hats, but as part of the Kerr Together board, I wanna really thank the entire organization. You've delivered.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. We got a lot of great people, a lot of great people in this community.
yeah.
And a lot of those, what's really beautiful about it, Commissioner, is that so many that were helpers in 2025 now need help.
Yeah.
And then to see those that were helped
Yeah.
in 25 be at 98 Coronado and helping their fellow neighbor this time, it's just,
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
Well, again, it's so much better than a year ago, and I know I made an emotional appeal in one of your board meetings, but again, I just thank you.
But we appreciate
You're there
everything
for it.
that the court is doing as well. Thank you.
But what's important for the public to know, I think, is that we have the best leadership in the community already in place. With over 250 volunteers that have already stepped up to the plate. So we are not looking to stand something up.
Correct.
It is stood up, and TDM is actually incorporated in the process.
Yes, sir. They've been in the building since just about day one.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay.
Do you want anything from Road and Bridge or no?
Did-
Yes,
Yeah,
Sure.
Bobby thought y'all might want to wait to the end, but if, that's up to the judge. If y'all want to go ahead now,
I'd
we,
like to do.
Well, I think this is an extended process. These are extraordinary circumstances. I think the more we can drink from this fire hose at one time, the better. So if you would, please.
Judge. And Sylvia's gonna.
Okay.
I wanted to kind of start that every bridge that we had guardrail damage, we have guardrail damage on all of those. We added one to it, Poudal Hollow.
You got any more?
But everything that was damaged in the flood in 2025 kind of has about the same damage. Homilius Bridge, which is in the Comfort area, we lost the approach and most of the road to the bridge. The approach on the private side is still in place. Cade Loop Bridge, we had a Connex box that was up against the upstream side that has been moved away. Last Friday, TxDOT came and inspected, to the best of my knowledge, they said that they were gonna be here. Cade Loop Bridge and Rio Vista Low Water Crossing concrete. Then this week, they're supposed to go in and inspect. I had asked for inspections for 11 bridges and Rio Vista Low Water Crossing. So that's all working. The 3 dams are inspected by TCEQ. I saw them out last week. I don't know if they've completed the 3 dams that the county is in charge of. That'd be Ingram Dam, Center Point Dam, and Flat Rock Dam. From what I could tell, Center Point and Ingram didn't look like that I could just visually see a lot of damage, but Flat Rock Dam, which you can access it off of 173, I mean, the road and bridge can, but the public can't. It is in a kind of a recreational part for Comanche Trace. And then the other is on Guadalupe Heights, and you'd have to go down this little pathway to get to it, and it's not real easy to walk down it. So that bridge, or that dam, one of the wing walls, the one that's on the side of 173, suffered extensive concrete damage. Yesterday I sent some pictures, and I also sent, I had gotten from Tatum some drone video and also some still shots of it, which is really nice because from an aerial view you can make out the damage as a whole, where the pictures that I took are just what I could get in the frame. And I reached out just to kind of get an idea of what kind of money you'd be looking at, and I would say it's going to be a lot of money. It's a lot of concrete.
Very specific.
That's not a
lot
number.
of, it's a lot of concrete. Homilius, so far the structure for the bridge is there, but doing the approaches in that will also be very expensive. Once the inspections are done, that will tell us a little bit more. Ayler's Bridge, which is near Homilius. On the public side, everything looks pretty good. There might be a little bit of patching for the approaches. But once you get off the bridge, it becomes private. Same with Homilius. But on Ayler's, the private side, what meets up to the edge of the bridge is gone. And so those 2 bridges, this is just kind of a fun little fact. Ayler's was built in 1920, and Homilius was built in 1937. So these are old bridges that, have gone through probably a lot of floods, also have passed every 2-year off-system bridge inspections. There's not much to them, but I've always been amazed at how they hold up when we have a flood. Cade Loop, we'll find out on that. Bobby and I went out there and looked. We didn't really see anything that was real different from the 2025 flood. We were getting ready to start rebuilding on that, and then we had the flood. So I don't know if it was a good thing that we didn't rebuild it and then have damage. I'm not real sure. I don't have that answer, but hopefully we can start that project here pretty soon. As far as our roads, we had a lot of road damage, but a lot of it is pretty minor, and we're out there right now patching. Everything is open except for Homilius, obviously, because there's no way to get to the bridge. There's no approach. Brinks was closed last, I think I went out there Thursday or Friday. It was closed because there was an electrical repair out there. And so once that was done, we would open it. Crossing Street, we had some gravel on there so people wouldn't cross it. It's my understanding, I think that they have removed that. The reason why we kept the gravel bar there was because we still had to go in and try to get as much debris out from underneath. And that's hard to do once you go and open something. We still have a lot of debris that is under some of these bridges that are wedged in so tight. And we do not have the type of equipment to be able to move this stuff out. So we're really hoping with the debris side of it that we might be able to get some help in that. As far as some of the roads that kind of suffered major repair, Bear Creek Road, kind of from Shepherd Reese, kind of down to where Bear Creek Bridge is, which is City of Kerrville Bridge. We just rebuilt that whole entire road in 2025. It was $488,454.25. And it's not all gone, but there are portions. Indian Creek, kind of the same thing, it's kind of hit or miss, but when you get into the very back section, once you get off of Freedom Trail and take a left, it's a lot more secluded back in there. The damage is pretty extensive. Town Creek Road, the county does not maintain a huge amount on Town Creek Road. A lot of it was annexed in by the city of Kerrville. But when you come down Morris Street, we've got probably approximately 200 feet to the left and about 200 feet to the right. So we do have a small section in there that we put down for kind of more of a major fix on it. Seago was a road that was damaged in 2025. We did all the work ourselves. It was probably just shy of $70,000. It did about the same thing. It's about a half a mile to 3/4 of a mile worth of damage. We have Cimarron, the road, and there's a crossing there that we've got some damage. Holloman, which is out by Goat Creek, FM 1338, which is a state road. We've got some road damage and a crossing. What else do I have I wanted to share? Fall Branch was a bridge that we sustained in 2025, some gabion mattress damage that was placed for erosion. I was out there along with Charlie and Bobby and Robert on 4th of July. I think it was about 3:09 in the afternoon. The water was still rushing through there. We were on the bridge. I snapped one picture and we went to the next location. We figured everything was fine. Well, after everything receded, the gabions were all twisted up and damaged. So we're hopefully are going to be awarding the bid for that, and that is damage that was a late DI getting it in, and we moved pretty quick while FEMA was closed, which I think helped us, and FEMA accepted it, which is really good because the low bid was it's just shy of $92,000 was the low bid on it. So had we not been able to get that in, that $92,000 would 100% been on Kerr County. So we were very grateful for that. So hopefully we can get that fixed, and hopefully the Cade Loop project can start here fairly soon. I'm kind of waiting to see what the TxDOT engineer said that some of the inspections that I asked for on some of these locations. So I think that's about
Kelly, kind of a summary, we've got 19 bridges.
Yeah, 19 bridges on the off-system bridge program.
And we've got how many? 10 that have damage.
11.
Is it 11?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, Cade Loop and Fall Branch, if you included that, that would be 9. But I don't really think the damage that's there now is
Okay.
a lot of it. Was
How many are
I'd
closed?
say about 7 is what we're finally that have guardrail damage. We probably have a little bit of approach damage that we can patch and things like that.
How many are closed today?
None, other
None.
than, I'm not sure
Well,
on
you can't
Crossing
say none, because
Street
you got
and
Homelius and Ayler.
Homelius and
Yeah.
Crossing, I'm not for sure.
Crossing. So those 3 at least, right, that are closed?
Yes.
Correct. Crossing was closed on
Bobby's saying
Saturday,
4.
unless they got
Yeah.
We
there
got County
this
Cade
morning.
Loop, so we have 4 closed out of 19.
Yeah.
All right, and from the previous flood, we had 1.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got 10, the roads that we have that have substantial damage are about 10, I think you told me?
Yes.
And I made those drives yesterday, and Bear Creek is bad.
Yeah.
Very bad. You couldn't tell, my wife didn't want to go across them in some places. She had to trust me, which is, she's like, no, I'm a daredevil. I'm like, nah, we got 4-wheel drive, we'll just go. But it's bad
Yeah.
out there again.
Yeah, and it, for us, having it totally reconstructed, J3 was the contractor in 2025. There'll be really great maintenance records for FEMA to show, that we had this road totally rebuilt. Road and Bridge did the surface on it. We did 2 layers of rock, 2 layers of oil. So that should be pretty easy to prove that we properly maintained on that one. We should have maintenance records for the others, but that particular road, I mean, that we spent a lot of money, a year ago on it, so.
Kelly, question on Lane Valley Bridge. I assume that was part of the debris that has you concerned.
Yes,
Understanding there are two huge cypress trees which don't belong there that are up against the bridge on ball roots on the far side. Same thing last year though.
Yes.
We also had another large one that was on the left side of that bridge. It becomes important because Homelius and Ellers are both shut down and will be for the extended time. Understanding they serve a private, mostly community on the other side, and people are using Lane Valley becomes more important.
yes.
What are your thoughts about those trees being the weight of them up against the bridge vertical right now? I assume it's safe because it's open and people are using it, and there's options to go to Center Point Two Bridges or to Herman Sons Comfort. Any concern about that one key bridge right now and
Well, you know,
removal? And who's going to do that with
Yes.
those huge trees?
yes, it's kind of the same as last flood. on
That,
some
that's
of
what Commissioner Pace was just asking me about, though. Under this category B that we've been approved for, we can do emergency temporary repair.
For that? I just don't know on your priority list where that falls out as far as you're concerned.
Yeah. There's all sorts of concerns, but yes, anything where we've got debris, you're shutting off the flow. That's why
This might be a good time, Judge, for you to remind them why some of the commissioners may not be where you and I are because of the Open Meeting Act rules.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but understand we're playing by the rules.
And it's just an aside on that. We are in a public meeting right now, so we can talk to one another. But the minute we adjourn, we're not. And this is where we've been given offices. And so there'll be 5 of us in this room that can't talk to anybody but one other person. Figure that one out.
one other thing I wanted to share, it's kind of interesting, Indian Creek Bridge, which is off of Old Ingram Loop. That particular site last year, we've had for many years a concrete or a rock, kind of a gravel island out there. And years ago, we had Texas Parks and Wildlife come out and to try to find out what we could do on removing it. You know, there were things you could do, but it was a lot of different things to jump through on that. And I think just the way that the water flowed and everything, and this was a pretty big graveled island. This location, that island is gone. There's no more. So, you know, there were some things in this that you could say good things. There were a few things that kind of helped us out on some stuff.
But it went somewhere.
And then there were some other things.
Maybe Monkey
not so
Island
much.
and Crossing Street, because there's a lot of gravel there.
So, Hoodall, like I said, was a new one. Hoodall, I swear every time it rains, this is off of Johnson Creek, Highway 27 to going to Mountain Home. A lot of gravel, but there's always a lot of gravel there. And Crossing Street's the same way. There are some locations that there's always a tremendous amount of gravel at them. I don't really have the answer to you for that, but we always see a lot of gravel at these locations. It takes a long time to move that stuff out. So that's about all I got.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, going to do one more report before the break. The break is coming. This is our HR Director, Sylvia Zapata.
Hi, Judge Commissioner. I just have a quick update on the insurance side of it. The morning of Thursday, July 16th, made contact with Texas Association of Counties who does our property insurance. And within a few hours, they initiated the claim and had Gerloff at the courthouse, which was essential to try to reduce that mold and try to get us in restoration mode. So that was great.
They met with us that day, in
That
person.
day, yes,
In
that
person.
day. By noon, I think I got the
Good.
call that they were there. So our property insurance through Texas Association of Counties has a $25,000 single deductible. So that's what we're expected to pay.
And the response to that is praise God.
Yeah.
$25,000. When I heard it, said, write the check.
So that is going to cover, of course, our courthouse. It also covers our other buildings that had the damage, the sheriff's office, the extension office. So it's going to be a single deductible for all of that. We have a $10,000 coverage limit for personal items of the employees, and that's for anything that has maybe some furniture, anything that was personal. So we'll have to work on that to get that figured out and try to get the employees to give us a report on what it is that they had. So that's what that is. As of Thursday, July 23rd, 70% of the content had been removed from by Gerloff, the debris from the bottom basement floor. CRDN, I don't know what it stands for, but they're a disaster restoration company. So they came in and their job is to inventory the content and go through and let us know, y'all had this many desks. And so anything that's county owned, they will make sure to inventory and provide a report for it. So that's still, it's progressing because there's not everything's out yet. So they're working as fast as they can to try to get us that information. Judge, you talked about this asbestos testing has been done in the basement. Only a little bit in the old part of the basement, they found some asbestos that they've contained. So it's, they can treat it and make sure that when they're removing everything, it's safe. So that's taken care of. Electrical breaker is expected tomorrow. And then hopefully they plan on begin installation on Wednesday. So that will hopefully restore the power for the first and second floor. That's just power and AC. Of course, the elevator is a different story. That company has still not touched base on or made their initial reports. Extra things that they've paid out or that they're potentially are going to pay out is moving expenses. So anything that has been required, cleaning services for the new offices. Some of the offices were empty, and so they required some cleaning service. Moving expenses to help the different departments move into their new locations. All that is going to be covered by insurance, and so it's also a good thing because we were able to quickly get all that taken care of. So far, TAC has issued a $100,000 advance payment to help pay for just some immediate equipment purchases that needed to happen. Chairs, those of us lost everything. Chairs, just to get us going. So really, that's kind of all I have. It's just a quick update, unless y'all have any questions for me.
Well, the only thing I would share is we had a group meeting last week, I think it was on Thursday, where we met not only with all the TAC representatives, but their hired experts that they have in that are reviewing the situation. We met with our catastrophe contractors in this room, with a big square table. Anytime you hear that it is a covered loss, just say thank you. That would be a big help for us in our recovery. Anything else?
Just a quick question on file recovery. There, of course, there's a lot of paper files that were down there, both in the offices that are very important. Was anything salvageable? Do we have electronic backups?
I think every office is different, and I can't speak for other offices. I know HR had some electronic, but not anything more current. They do offer a file restoration, but some of the files that they've gone through, that we've gone through together, are not salvageable. So they're going to go through this process that's not really going to
Benefit.
Right.
Your yield.
Everything's just damaged. Yeah, the ink has bled off the paper.
And there's a shredding company that's contracted to come in and
Yes.
take care of all of it.
And that's hopefully this week. So we'll get in contact. I'll be contacting the offices to let them know so we can properly dispose of all that, even though it's damaged.
Commissioner Holt, my office, most of our records were backed up electronically. There are of course some things in there that were paper copies, but most of what we have in the county attorney's office is digital.
Yeah, I feel we took a pretty big hit in historical documents in the basement.
Yeah, I think the historical ones, you're right, that were in that one storage room.
And
Some of that,
yeah.
tax records and property records that probably went back to the early 1900s or maybe
Yeah.
earlier, I don't know. I'm guessing all that's gone.
I fear that's true. Okay.
The auditor's
thank you.
office had records downstairs too that are all lost.
Okay, thank you.
Really, all I have is just a quick update.
Okay, we're getting ready to take a break. The restrooms are out here to my left, where you see the glass doors that says courtroom on it. They're outside there, so you'll know where they are. Be courteous. It's going to take some time, and we're going to take a 5 to 10 minute break, probably more like 10. If it goes to 15, we'll just reconvene at that time. In that we will stand in recess.
Thank you.
Judge, would it be helpful to read somebody to pick up your gavel between now and then?
By the end of tomorrow, I'll have time.
I'll make
those
arrangements.
numbers pretty
I'm sorry?
I'll make arrangements.
Okay. Hi, Judge, how are you holding up?
Well, I'm tired.
Welcome, Judge. You might still have time to fill that same file. Todd didn't say it, I didn't say it, but when you fill out the ISAT, they want up to 10 pictures of the
Oh.
and that's been a big gap. We've had to, it's hard to go back. Just make a little note of that for people that are really awesome.
Sure. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Okay.
Yep, I'm doing all right. Hopefully, did okay up there.
That was a good report.
Well,
Let me know if
that's
I can
why I wanted to
accompany you.
nominate you for the
Get back
sniff
to it, I
test with
guess.
all the other ladies.
And children.
Good.
Thank
So
you.
you're gonna
Sorry.
be at 98 Coronado?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna be at the EOC. Well, actually, I need to run. I'll stop by there first.
So you're gonna do the room closet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
Happy Hideaway, isn't it?
550, everybody
All right,
who's
well,
at
thank you.
550 has a better office than what they used to have. Well, yeah, what's not to like? Big offices, windows, every office has a window.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
It does make it nice.
Yeah, well. Anyway, good to have something.
Good night. Look at that.
Where'd the water come from in the end? I'm sure of that. Where did that water come from?
We don't know. It just,
I mean, it didn't actually.
it was that deep all the way across CIB and coming through the water.
I got a gavel. Court will come back to order. Such as it is. Actually, y'all been a very respectful audience so far. I really appreciate that. This is helping us to be able to communicate as much information as we can in a short period of time. So back on the agenda, before we get into the rest of the agenda, I've been asked to announce that for the individuals that are filing the ISATs, whatever you call them, okay, 10 photographs are required for them to consider your claim, as I've been advised.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was advised. Now, I'm making the announcement because we know that they asked for personal information. That can be a concern. I understand that. They're asking for photographs. That's kind of personal information. I understand that. But you need to learn the rules of what it's going to take to have them consider your claim. And if they need photographs, you need to get them photographs. So,
And no matter how little, it helps the whole county. You know, we're looking for everybody in Highland in together.
and by the way, last week we had 2 representatives from FEMA, from the main office in FEMA, in town, that Commissioner Jones and I had an opportunity to meet with over the Cable Loop Bridge and some other issues. So I will tell you that FEMA and these resources are taking this very seriously with us. Working very well. Okay, we're back on the agenda. Item 1.3, which is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to move the portable building currently located at the old Kerr County Animal Control Facility property to the Hill Country Youth Event Center parking lot for use by the AgriLife Extension Office. Mr. Jones.
Yeah, this again is flood related. That building we had already talked about previously, possibly moving out to Precinct 4 to the Ag Extension. But now we have found a definite purpose for that meeting. They are going to be displaced for quite some time at our Ag Extension office. We had Commissioner Harris and Sam Womble went out and looked at the building. We may have to do a couple of things. The more they've looked at that building, the worse they're saying it is. So what we've got in mind is setting it up just in the back side of the current Ag Extension office. And then if we need to, we can use it as a permanent structure there going forward. The insurance will help us in making that move. I'm looking at Sylvia and she's saying yes. And so it actually is a good place for us to park it at. And they'll be taking advantage of it. There's room for about 5 people to office out of it right now. They're going to have to do the flood cut on the interior of the building over there. Can't have the employees in there working in there. And if it gets a little too crowded in there, then if we need to, we can move a couple of them over into the ag barn. Hill Country Youth Event Center. I gotta learn that one
Yep.
of these days. The Ag Barn. And so.
Old habits.
uh,
I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the relocation of the temporary building, the portable building, from the Kerr County Animal Control Facility over to the Hill Country Youth Event Center to be used by AgriLife Extension Office as presented.
So,
Any
so
discussion?
would you just clarify it? So the existing AgriLife building itself has flood damage?
It
Yes.
had water come running, dripping through the back sides and walls of it. And they went in, did a moisture measurement, and they thought it was gonna be just maybe a 2-week deal. And the more they've got into it, I believe now they're saying it's gonna take quite a bit longer than they thought.
Okay.
Exactly.
And the portable building though, or the temporary building, that was fine, that wasn't damaged in the flood?
No.
No, and it, it doesn't have water,
Yeah, I know,
so.
no plumbing.
Right.
But that's all accessible right there. So it keeps them close.
Sure. No, I'm
And
all
their big concern was taking care of their chickens.
Well, yeah.
for it. Okay.
And the
All for
insurance
it.
will take care of emergency electrical for that building and everything when we set it up. I'm just glad we didn't pull the trigger on it
Yeah.
a week or two ago, a couple weeks ago
Right.
when we talked about it.
And the good news is that AgriLife Extension is thrilled to get it.
Sure.
So we one relocation that has been well met.
Right.
But no, seriously,
It's a nice
everybody's
building.
done a great job. But they're eager to get it, so we're happy to do it. Any other conversation, any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. There's a timed item, I forgot. Go down to item 1.13, which is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to award a contract for the Fall Branch Creek Erosion Protection Replacement Project for damages to the gabion structures located at Fall Branch Creek from the July 4, 2025 flood. Okay, Mr. Gore. This is Bobby Gore. I guess you're our kind of acting engineer, assistant.
That's right. Judge, Commissioners, good morning. Want to just say quickly, this is from the July 4th, 2025 disaster. We received 4 bids a couple of weeks ago. The low bid was Myers Concrete Construction LP for the amount of $91,248. I'm going to make one quick change, if I may. I'm going to suggest that we word this to say tentatively award this project to Myers Construction pending assessment after the recent flood. We just want to be able to get some good eyes to see what may have happened after this recent flood. And then, if so, of course, we'll proceed.
Okay, I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the tentatively awarding of the contract to Myers Construction, is that correct?
Yes.
For the Fall Creek project as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. I know y'all have places to be. You want to go ahead and try to finish out the rest of your items here?
If you're able to, thank you all so much.
They had notified me earlier that they weren't going to be here to do it at this time, so we were going to push it to the end, but they're here, and I want to release you to go back and do the more important work of trying to repair and recover as best we can. So let's go to item 1.14. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action for the court to consider change order number 1 with Cromex Construction, Inc., with no change in contract amount for the East Kerr County Center Point Wastewater Collection Project. Mr. Gore.
So on April 13th, 2026, the court tentatively awarded a contract with Cromex Construction Incorporated, pending approval by the Texas Water Development Board, in the amount of $2,667,500 for the construction of Phase 4 of the East Kerr Center Point Wastewater Collection Project. This was by order number 41865. This project is partially funded by the Economically Distressed Areas Program, or EDAP, and therefore must comply with the requirements of the United States Iron and Steel Program for acquiring permanently installed products to be made primarily of iron and steel that are manufactured in the United States. The guidelines listed in the USIS program are to be incorporated into the contract via change order number 1 as required by the Texas Water Development Board.
The change order amount is $0 and there is no change in the contract amount. What this will do is allow us to get into that program, and then this is, in light of all the bad news, this is some good news in that the Water Development Board is ready to push this forward pending this change order. If approved, we'll get the change order signed, we can go ahead and get the contract executed, and we will proceed.
I move to approve the change order.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the change order with on the Chromex construction contract as presented. And this is on the East Kerr County wastewater line, unrelated to the 25 or 26 flood. Any discussion?
Well, I'll just say, we've already discussed it, but I'd like to see the first priority, once this Chromex contract gets going, for that Verde Creek home that keeps backing up, and we've received numerous complaints, so
Yes,
let's
sir.
do that. And there is some relativity to the flood, because with all that moisture and water, we have seen some of the manhole areas where, you know,
No doubt.
the compaction has failed. Whatever compaction was there, it wasn't adequate, and it's reduced. So
Right.
again, we need to review all those and make sure that we're gonna fix all those problems as well under this contract. So I'm very pleased that the contract is gonna be made effective.
Right.
That's it.
Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Item 1.15, consider, discuss, take appropriate action regarding an amending plat for Northwest Hills, lots 1 and 5. Mr. Gore.
So this proposed amending plat adjusts the lot line between lots 1 and 5. No new lots will be created. Lot 1R will be 1.76 acres fronting on Mount Haven Drive and Harper Road. Lot 5R will be 2.32 acres fronting on Mount Haven Drive. It is within Kerrville's ETJ, and the city of Kerrville has waived the review process to Kerr County. The county engineer's office requests the court consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding an amending plat for Northwest Hills lots 1 and 5, volume 5, page 30, and volume 6, page 356, precinct 1.
And how are these increasing?
One is increasing, one is decreasing. The lot line is moving. I think lot 1 was bigger. It's going to get smaller, and then lot 5 is getting bigger.
It's really just a plat for the adjusting lot.
It's just adjusting the lot line between.
Okay.
One lot.
And Headwaters is signed off?
What, I'm sorry?
Headwaters?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous.
I don't think there was a motion or a second.
Oh,
I'll make
okay.
a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Nope.
Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 1.16, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action for the Commissioners Court to approve the general contract between Interstate Barricades and Markings LLC in Kerr County to stripe Elm Pass Road as quoted in the amount not to exceed $33,831. Ms. Hoffman.
Prior to the flood, we completed repairs on Elm Pass Road with a new chip seal. And we are requesting approval to have Interstate Barricades and Markings LLC to stripe the completed sections of roadway as it was prior to resealing Elm Pass Road this year. When we received quotes from 3 different vendors per policy, we found the cost to be lower than expected, and therefore were able to request more striping than originally anticipating, resulting in 2 separate quotes for Elm Pass Road. The total of both quotes from Interstate Barricades and Markings LLC are $38,831. And we've got a general contract ready to go that the county attorney's office written up for us.
I make a motion to approve the contract with general,
It's
or with Interstate Barricades and Markings.
$33,831.
Okay, you said 38.
Second.
Okay. There's a motion and a second here at the bench to approve the contract.
I'm assuming none of this
Is there
was-
any discussion?
None of this was affected?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Just double checking. I heard other conversations going on. Anything else we need to know?
Well, I would just really recommend Elm Pass gets a lot of traffic. I don't have an actual average daily traffic count, but, and some of the speeds can get probably a little bit, so I think it's really important to get that center line
Yeah.
back down. And it's a double yellow, so it'll be no passing.
Especially considering the tortuous route that it
Yes.
takes in certain areas. So if,
Yes.
from a safety concern, I think
Yes.
it's great that you do it. Again, I commend Road and Bridge. The reconstruction and resurfacing of the road, it's great. Thank you. Good job.
Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand.
Thank you.
Unanimous, thank you. Okay, I think that's releases y'all to get you back out on the roads.
Thank you.
That's a pun. Let's go back up to item 1.4. And that is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to accept the resignation of Kathy Mitchell, Justice of the Peace Precinct 3.
I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve Judge Mitchell's resignation. Any discussion?
Could you just add to that effective July 31st?
Effective July 31st,
I'm good with that.
which is an important date for personal reasons.
That's what her letter says.
Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Moving on to item 1.5, consider, discuss, and take appropriate to appoint the successor for Kathy Mitchell, Justice of the Peace Precinct 3.
Do we need to state the name or just?
I would think so.
I think you need to state the name.
Okay. I move that, I'm drawing a blank.
Taylor Robertson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unblanked, okay. I move that we
That's right, he won the election.
appoint the successor for Kathy Mitchell as Taylor Robertson for the Justice of the Peace Precinct 3.
Second.
So it's to be effective July 31st or
August
August
1st.
August 1.
Okay, we've got a motion to appoint Taylor Robinson to serve as the replacement JP for Kathy Mitchell in Precinct 3, effective August the 1st. Any discussion?
I just met him the other day on precinct course 3. He's ready, willing to serve in that. Met him up in the new building, looking at his, office spaces he's gonna move in, so.
He's the JP elect.
Correct,
It
yeah.
makes sense.
Easy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Item 1.6, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to accept the bond for the new Justice of the Peace for Precinct 3. This is required by law.
Yeah. Move to approve.
Got a motion and a second? Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Okay. Next is item 1.7, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding the 2027 Kerr County Appraisal District budget. This is the budget that has been presented to us from the appraisal district.
I talked to Bob Reeves, and he didn't think you would have all that from them yet, from his numbers.
He thinks it's incomplete? What are we
This is
talking-
their budget.
Oh, this is their budget?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah, I think Bob was
The
talking
document
about
itself is very
something
do
complete.
what
else.
now?
Bob was talking about something else.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
this is
I
separate.
move for approval.
Well, I'll second. We need to discuss this.
Yeah.
Discussion. The appraisal district is not Kerr County government. We've tried to emphasize that for a number of years now. We do participate in it. We have voting members that serve on that board. And Bob Reeves is kind of the head of our delegation. The other taxing entities in the county also have representatives or designated people to serve on that board. They are charged with the responsibility for creating a budget in order to perform their state mandated functions, which is to property appraisal process here in Kerr County. They then have to submit that budget to all the member taxing entities, of which Kerr County is one. And I don't remember the exact formula, but if too many people don't approve the budget, then they have to go back and work on the budget again. If enough of the participating members, taxing entities, approve the budget, then that will be the budget for the coming year. And as I understand it, I have heard no objections to their budget, but I'm open to any discussion that we need to have.
Last year, didn't they brief? I do recall they briefed their budget and we voted.
I don't
I don't
remember.
think they've ever come to court with their budget.
Yeah.
Sharon
Who-
can come
who,
for
the
other
district?
things, but not that.
KCAT.
I mean,
I just like it when people brief their budget in front of us because we have to approve it. Kind of a thing.
give somebody to ask questions of. I mean, I'm kind of curious why they have COLA and merit increases and they don't spell it out, but I guess it's three.
They're just showing a 3%.
I know,
Yeah.
apparently across the board, which I'm not sure I agree with. These are kind of tough times and tight budgets. Of course, we haven't decided what the county's gonna do on salary increases either.
We have a lot of work to do on
Yeah.
budget and all kinds of things between now and the deadlines that we'll be talking about in a minute. But,
Yeah, I agree.
this is KCAD, as we call it, Kerr County Appraisal District budget. If this is something that you want to defer, we can do that and then ask for a representative, if that's what you want to do. But we need to take some kind of action
Yeah.
or notify them that no action has been taken.
I'd be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Who's making a motion?
Make a motion that we defer on this item until they're able to come back and brief us in person on a budget request.
Okay.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to defer consideration of the KCAD budget as presented for 2027, pending further clarification and explanation. Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. We'll hear from them again. Next on the agenda is item 1.8. Consider, discuss, update. You know, if and I'm going to ask for a privilege here, Rich. Can we move this down to we do the commissioners' reports and all that kind of stuff rather than here in the middle of it?
I don't mind where it's in the agenda, but I would like it to be on the agenda so we can actually have discussion.
We've got it on the agenda. It's just
I don't care where it's at. If you want to defer it to the end, that's
Okay.
fine with me.
Thank you. So we'll defer that temporarily, be back to it in just a little while. Next is item 1.9. Discussion regarding their proposed department requested budgets for the fiscal year 26-27 budget. There's not a whole lot we're going to be talking about this as we go through each one of these agenda items. We are behind in our preparation of the budget. I think the reason is obvious. But these are things that we need to get to. I did offer some input on this at the workshop we had a couple of weeks ago before the flood. And I think we can pick up there. We have a workshop this afternoon at 2, I believe it is, which will also be YouTubed by Mr. Amistoy's Kerr County lead, which is offering that for us at no cost to be posted on our website. We thank you, but here's a plug for the Kerr County lead and helping us out in tough times. I don't have anything new to report on that, but do you have something?
I think I signed up to speak on this one.
Okay, this is okay. You're Miss Agold?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Our podium as it is.
Finally one you can see me over.
Well, there's good in everything, right?
Yes, sir. Sharon Agold, I'm in precinct 1. And this is kind of a recommendation that I had hoped you guys would consider for budget purposes. In the wake of the July flooding that damaged our courthouse, I understand that it claimed our electronic poll pads, and we have a clear opportunity to act responsibly. I strongly support returning to paper poll pads for the November election. Paper pads are reliable, familiar to our election workers, and far less expensive to replace than the electronic systems. The change alone would deliver meaningful savings at a time when every dollar counts. I further recommend consolidating early voting to a single location, the Hill Country Youth Exhibition Center. One well-staffed site requires fewer clerks, reduces logistical costs, and still provides accessible services to voters across the county. These practical steps will free resources that we will need to face significant and still unknown costs of repairing the flooded courthouse and county infrastructure. Our county must prioritize fiscal restraint. By making these modest common sense adjustments, we can conduct a secure and efficient election while protecting taxpayers from unnecessary increases. We need to choose solutions that safeguard both integrity of our elections and the financial well-being of the families who call this county home. Thank you.
Thank you. And that would be a topic that we will certainly take up at today's workshop and
Yes, sir.
in anything future, which we'll get to that in just a minute.
It's also, there is an agenda item about the upcoming election, so
Oh, was that the wrong agenda?
it's somewhat
I
relevant
apologize
to
for
that too.
Just as a
Yeah, that's
point,
a 1.21.
the insurance would cover the replacement cost of those poll pads.
Okay.
So,
But still worthy of further conversation.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 1.10, discussion regarding the county judge's recommended budget. And let me just start by saying it is not ready. We've been kind of busy. The budget form that we presented, that I'm sure all of y'all have seen on the website. Or is it on the website?
I don't know. I
No,
don't think so.
it's not on the
No.
website. My draft budget has a placeholder number in it. And this is a process that we use sometime in our budgeting where we know that we're going to have to budget. We don't know what we're going to budget, but we set aside a number that we keep available for that. And the big variable right now, well, let me just back up. I'm not recommending any new hires. We do have some special requests, which I addressed at the workshop a couple of weeks ago, and we'll address again today. But in terms of the other variables, we have a placeholder number in my draft budget for the employee compensation. And this has to do with wage adjustments, as well as their actual authorizing their actual payment of their actual wage, existing wage. And I started with a number of approximately $685,000 that we were going to be able to discuss, again, which will be discussed at workshop today and whenever we get around to filing the budget, which I'll address in just a minute. And I have since reduced that down to $657,000 in my mental assessment of where I think we're going to, what I'm recommending for that compensation. And I know people are vitally interested in this, but we don't have a breakdown on it. The variables that I have considered in this have to do with what their existing compensation is. Look at what wage adjustments could be, and that, you know, some people call it a COLA, we call it a wage adjustment, but it is an increase, or if any. And also, we have a salary study which was completed a year ago, right before the last flood. In fact, I think it's July 1 before the July 4 flood, which we never got around to really evaluating. And I have been working with county staff evaluating what that salary study might look like. And one of the reasons that I've left a placeholder number in the budget that will be discussed later is to be able to see, are we in a position to be able to do that? And part of it has to do with the step and grade system. I'm new to public service. I come from the private sector. I did not know what a step and grade system was. I've since learned that it probably is a misnomer. It should be a grade and step system. But be that as it may, it has been extremely controversial in the 2 years that I shadowed my predecessor and the 7 years that I've been on the court. There has been unanimous consensus to find a way to try to revise the system that we have. And I know other commissioners have worked on it. And I don't profess to have any magical solution to it other than the fact that it remains an issue. And that is part of what we want to discuss at the workshop. Now, having said that, the recommended budget from the county judge, the initial schedule that we had a calendar for events, would have had me, and you can see I do not have it, so I'm not failing to disclose that. I do not have a recommendation at this point. But the original calendar had me presenting it this Thursday. and filing it with the county clerk no later than this Friday. We have not had the opportunity to sit down and work through some of this, in particular with the HR department and other departments here in the auditor's office, to see if there's something that we can recommend to the public on this. But we haven't given up. And so we've run the traps, and as I understand it, the new deadline that with our emergency situation allows us to August the 13th. And therefore, I think it incumbent on me for recommendation and for the court and ultimately adopting a budget to take advantage of this extension of time that we've been afforded because of our emergency circumstances to try to see what we can and cannot do. And so with that, I have no recommendation to make today. The deadline now is the 13th. We have a workshop today. And I don't know if we have additional workshops, but if we need them, we'll go ahead and schedule them in order to be able to get the public input and make a recommendation to this court. So that's where we stand with regard to item 1.10. Any discussion about that? I think everybody wants a chance to talk about it. That's right. That's what we're trying to do here. Very good. So I'll drop that for the moment, and we'll move on to item 1.11, which is to consider, discuss, take appropriate action to approve the proposed salary increases for elected county and precinct officials for Kerr County fiscal year 26-27, and authorize the county clerk to publish same on August the 5th, 2026. Ms. Zapata.
Judge, as you just stated in your previous item, there hasn't been any direction, nothing's been determined, so these were just listed because that's
You've been busy.
customarily what happens on this agenda.
Okay. Now this is not for employees, this is for elected officials. And the process, and I don't have the dates on the tip of my tongue, feel free to interrupt me in my comments here. But these have to be, we have to make recommendations for these public elected officials' salaries. It has to be then posted in the newspaper and advertised, and not, advertised so that the public knows the salaries that are being recommended. And then there's, once that's been done, it has to be posted for so many days. And we do pretty much all of this through the tax office, through Mr. Bob Reeves. But then we come back and after we receive the input, then we can make the recommendations, and that will actually be part of the final budget process. But you see, we're well up into August to get that done. So, anything else to report?
Sure.
Okay. Well, we all know we need to roll our sleeves up and get busy on budget. Thank you. Item 1.12, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve the base salaries for elected officials for fiscal year 26-27. Ms. Zapata. And what this normally involves is last year, the existing salary.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So normally what we do is put the base as the existing, and I'm just saying we don't have to do that, but that's historically what's been done. And then we see if there's any change we want to make going forward that we just discussed.
That's correct.
So that's your recommendation?
That we pass on it
Pass
because
on it.
we haven't
Just
decided
pass?
anything.
So, okay, we'll pass on that one too. Okay. That takes us over, I think, to item 1.17. That's to consider, discuss, and take action to approve the 26-27 contract renewal for the inmate health care services between Kerr County and WellPath LLC, and to authorize the county judge to sign same. Sheriff Letha.
Judge, I'm going to pass on this, but I'm going to explain why, Tanya. I think you'll like this. Actually, they were here this morning, the supervisors from WellPath. This is my largest contract, $1.4 million every year. And we kind of go back and forth. We started back in March. The CPI was 4%. Kind of just go month by month. The contract I brought y'all, that one was done on July 2nd, which is 3.6%. We're going to save about $5,000, but the way I operate, everything helps, right? Well, this morning when we're out here talking, I said, hey, can you check it? And it's 2.9%. So I said, hey, I'm not going to present it today. So I will come back to you in one of the next two meetings at 2.9%, you'd be some more savings. So that's why I'm passing.
Well, we thank you and the taxpayers do
Every
too.
bit counts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 1.18, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to modify court order number 41797 and the resolution for the Sheriff's Immigration Law Enforcement Grant Program, Senate Bill 8, funding through the Texas Comptroller's Office. The modification is added language, the Commissioner's Court acknowledges, and this is quote, the Commissioner's Court acknowledges that Senate Bill 8 funding is intended to supplement existing county investments in public safety and is not intended to replace, supplant, or offset local funding otherwise provided by the county, and the sheriff maintains the exclusive right to utilize funds at his discretion in accordance with grant guidelines, close quote. Captain.
Yeah, and that's basically it. Under that Senate bill, under section 752.087, basically prohibits Commissioner's Court from reducing the sheriff's appropriations based on the grant award amount. And that language will cover that. Basically, y'all are acknowledging that y'all cannot reduce our budget based on that award amount.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any discussion?
Yeah, you do not look like Scott Gage.
I do not look
It's Captain Walter, by the way. Any discussion?
That is a standard clause on most every single grant that we have.
Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you. Next item is 1.19, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to authorize overtime pay instead of compensatory time earned for hours worked for all non-exempt employees for hours worked over 40 hours directly related to responding to the July 26 flooding disaster for pay periods through August 8 of 2026. Ms. Solon's not here. Is anybody addressing that?
Motion to approve.
I second.
Okay. We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Do we actually know what the number is, or?
We don't yet.
This is gonna keep
Sylvia's
recurring.
I don't have anything to add, I'm sorry. The next one's fine.
Okay.
At the last flood, she came back a couple of times
Yeah.
just to make sure those hours were covered and that our employees were getting paid for the time that they are serving our county instead of getting the compensatory time.
I normally wouldn't vote, to push this, but this is, we don't wanna miss that overtime opportunities for people.
This is our
that have really
non-exempt
worked hard.
employees. They need to
So,
get paid.
so
if
this
they're
is
not working.
directly related to the current pay period then, or what?
This is related to
From the
pay
beginning of the
period
flood
through
to-
August the 8th, 2026.
Yeah.
And we won't know those numbers for a while because timesheets were due today.
Right.
So
Right.
until they have time, so we don't have an estimate on that until payroll's able to look at those timesheets.
Put it in the work.
And overtime reimbursable through federal? I'm trying to remember, is that through the,
I
will
think
we
they'll
have meetings
submit
on
the
that?
reports.
If
I
they're
believe
working on
they'll
the
be,
flood.
yeah,
Yeah,
be submitting reports.
so I feel good that this is reimbursable, because we've had experience with that in 2025, and I don't want to miss out on the pay period, which is why, even though she's not here, I seconded that.
Yeah, this is to where they can collect their overtime pay rather than having to just stockpile the time.
Comp time.
Comp time
Yeah.
is what it does, is what it's doing.
Last flood, we didn't have an issue with overtime pay, correct?
We did in the beginning.
Oh, we do in the beginning?
I think the first few pay periods, when it first happened, employees were getting paid.
It was
But
similar.
I'm saying reimbursed.
Oh,
I don't think we had an issue with it being reimbursed.
Correct.
There's
So-
no,
Not on
FEMA's
there.
reimbursing, it's the straight time we're having an issue with the last vote.
Yes.
Say that again?
FEMA's reimbursing the overtime pay, we're having an issue on, straight time pay, getting reimbursed for that right now. We're working on it, last
Oh.
flood, for the
So,
last
so
flood.
this solves the FEMA problem from 25.
No, this has
No.
nothing to do with 25. This is strictly.
I know it does. I know
the
it's going
26
forward.
flood, but in answering, will it be
This-
reimbursed?
This is proactive
Yes, it should be reimbursed.
and addresses one of their
More than likely.
concerns expressed.
We know if we wait and put it in the time bank and they take it later, we know it will definitely not be reimbursable at that time.
Well, hats off to our employees for what they're doing. This has been all hands on deck, and I think it would be remiss not to be able to acknowledge their contribution. Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Item 1.20, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve AmeriFlex contract for Cobra services. Ms. Zapata.
We are mandated to offer Cobra services for medical, dental, and vision. TAC takes care of medical and dental, but we have to outsource the vision. And so that's what this is. AmeriFlex will be taking care of that for us.
I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the contract with AmeriFlex for the Cobra services as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Item 1.21, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action on ordering the general election for November 3, 2026. Ms. Alford.
Yes, Commissioners and Judge. This is to order the general election for the November 3rd for the District 198th District Judge, County County Court at Law, District Clerk, County Treasurer, County Surveyor, County Commissioner Precinct 1 unexpired term, and then County Commissioner Precinct 2 and 4, and then the Justice of the Peace for Precinct 1, 2, 3, and 4. Early voting is October the 19th through the 30th, to be held at the Hill Country Youth Event Center in the West Kerr Annex. As the sites, the main site is the Hill Country Youth Event Center. The dates and times, October 19th through the 23rd is 8 to 6. We're open that Saturday from 7 to 7. Sunday, October the 25th from 9 to 3. Then Monday, October 26th through October 30th is 7 to 7. And then the mail ballots, of course, come to the county clerk's office. And the last day for that is October the 23rd to receive those. And then we will be implementing the new the Hart Vanguard election equipment for this election.
I move for approval.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve ordering the general election for November 3, 2026 as presented. Any discussion?
Hill Country Youth Event Center, October, will probably, I'm guessing we're still gonna be in the EOC,
Yes.
like we were last year. I think we worked it out last year,
Yes,
right?
we did, and it's not as big.
No, the
This year?
footprint is much smaller, and even if it is, we'll get it worked out.
Okay.
I'm only anticipating having that other room another week, and then we'll reduce the footprint drastically.
Okay.
And some of Tatum's already moved over to 98 Coronado like we identified earlier. So, I mean, we're opening that facility up.
It should be available.
Yeah, very good.
Those in favor, raise your hand. Nat, did you vote? No?
Not yet. I'm a no.
4? A no.
I'm
4-1.
opposed. Yes, sir.
Okay. Just no election?
No, it's the Verity system that,
The system wasn't part of that order.
Yes, it is.
It was ordering the election.
no, I'm sorry, it is part of the order.
That's in the
The
back.
voting system,
This is the Vanguard system that we have to have in place September the 1st for all paper ballots.
That's in the backup. Okay.
is it backup? It's part of the order though, right?
Yes, sir, it is on the bottom of the order, yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's part of the order.
So mine doesn't have that.
Well, I'm sorry. But
Mine
mine does.
That's enough. Let's move on. 4-1. Motion passes. Next item is 122. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to revise the job description for the grant coordinator. Noel Putnam. For those of you that don't know what Noel does, just think about the courthouse and everything that goes on there, and if her fingerprints are not on it, I'll eat your hat. It's just about that comprehensive. If there ever was a true Girl Friday, and I mean that in a constructive and positive way, she is a Girl Friday. The things we have asked her to do far exceed her job description, and it is my intent to try to get that job description caught up for her so we'll know exactly what she does do and be able to compensate her accordingly at the appropriate time. But what we need to do here is expand those
We need to take out those other duties as assigned.
Other duties as assigned to be removed from the job description.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that way she's gonna be helping a lot with the flood in all
Sure.
different aspects. So, but for these purposes, we need that taken out.
Was that a motion?
I make it as a motion to remove that portion of the job description, other duties as may be assigned.
I second.
Got a motion and a second, to revise the job duties as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Okay, we need to come back to, I'm gonna save 1.8 in just a minute, I forgot it, okay? Let's go ahead and get rid of, let's say get rid of, let's do the approval agenda, let's complete that. 2.1 are budget amendments. And we're gonna be able to see you over the podium too.
How about that? Yes, thank y'all for allowing us to send this to y'all electronically this time so that there's all kinds of craziness going on right now, so we do appreciate that. And so you have 5 budget amendments showing, 2 are line item adjustments. You've got 3 that show new revenue, and 1 of those is for the cyber grant.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the budget amendments as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. 2.2, pay bills.
Yes, sir. Invoices for today's consideration amount to $1,508,076.16.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, to approve paying the bills as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. 2.3, late bills.
Yes, y'all received those this morning. We have late bills for $521,109.16.
Move for approval.
I second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the late bills for payment as presented. Any discussion?
No, just for public awareness, I see it's Texas Parks and Wildlife. And the reason for the late bills, I assume they sent it to us late.
So Texas Parks and Wildlife goes out weekly, actually.
Okay.
And that was like 106, just a second, I can tell you the exact amount that one was. We actually have the ability to send those out, because it's on a schedule that's due earlier.
I guess my question should be, what's accounting for the majority of the late bills?
The majority, the reason for them is
Yes,
just they were turned in late and the auditor's office needed additional time in order to get them ready before the first ones go out. We have a deadline, and if they don't get in that deadline,
Right.
that somebody comes to us
That
and says,
cycle?
this really has to go, we go.
Okay, I was expecting like office move or something on this one because it's unique time, but it's just they're turned in late. Okay, thank you.
Pretty much the deal. All of them.
Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. 2.4, auditor reports.
Yes, the first one is just the IRS mileage rate went up to 76 cents per mile. So that has been changed on the travel reimbursements that are showing on the web. So just kind of an FYI on that. The second part, y'all received internal audit reports for the animal control services and for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2, and we're asking that you accept those reports.
I'll move to approve.
Got a motion and a second to approve the auditor reports as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous.
Thank you.
2.5, accept monthly reports.
Let's pass on those, Judge.
And I'm gonna pass on court orders because I haven't looked at any.
'Cause there are
And if they're on my desk, I can't even get in to see them. So we'll pass on monthly reports and orders and come back to the next court meeting. Information agenda. Let's go ahead and go back and pick up the agenda item that we had on 1.8 with Commissioner Pace's, which is, and this is information. Consider, discuss, and update on matters related to the Hill Country Energy Subregional Planning Commission.
Thank you.
Mr. Pace.
Well, first, I'm just going to announce that the next board meeting for the Subregional Planning Commission will be held Tuesday, September 15th in the Gillespie County Courthouse at 1 o'clock. Just so that the court and the public is aware. We did send a letter to TxDOT last week requesting them to conduct an emergency traffic study to determine how they would reroute 16,000 vehicles per day should the proposed S-Volta BES that's just off I-10 and Mountain Home catch fire. And we asked them to determine the negative economic impact on our national commerce that would be caused by a thermal runaway fire there. So that a copy of that letter is available on our website, www.hcesrpc.com. And we're working on a letter, it's almost ready, should go out in the next day or two, to send to the Texas Parks and Wildlife to study the impact of a thermal runaway fire that would have on endangered and threatened species of wildlife here in the hill country. That really applies to all three counties, Gillespie, Kerr, and Kendall. And again, that letter will go out, but I have been made aware that we have the golden-checked warbler, the black-capped vireo, then fish, Guadalupe bass, flat mucket, Guadalupe orb, plants. We've got the tallbush fishbook cactus and the black twist flower, and there's a few others. There's also even a threatened lizard. So, you know, I think it needs to be factored into any kind of approvals on these projects that might go forward, that we understand the potential impact for, again, endangered species. Doesn't bother me if it takes them a while to get us a report on that back, but, you know, typically these projects give you a environmental impact assessment before they go forward. My problem with environmental impact assessments from private companies typically tell you whatever they want to hear.
We understand what you're researching for us. Thank you.
So we're, yeah, well, anyway, we'll see what our state agencies have to say, and I want to rely on that before perhaps a fire marshal approves a permit or something like that. And again, we're working on a bill that would give the Public Utilities Commission of Texas the authority and obligation to strategically plan for the location and type of electricity generation that they allow to connect to the grid, because it is the deregulated market that's created the biggest problem for our grid, the unreliability, the excessive costs that are being invested in things like the 765 kilovolt transmission lines that really would not be required if we didn't have to move unreliable wind and solar power across the state. So we'll work on that. And just to inform the public, the Texan also published a story entitled "Kerr County Officials Push for Stronger Regulation of Battery Storage Projects in the Texas Hill Country." That article was published by the Texan on July 21st. And of course, that is based on an interview that I had with reporter Kim Roberts. And they have a lot of material that I sent to them. So we're just trying to get the word out and make the public aware of the issues, and not so much the public as our state legislators, because we do need to push for some action. And the last update I have is that on this Wednesday, July 29th at 9 a.m., the Senate Business and Commerce Committee will take public and private testimony on Public Utility Commission's plan to install the 765 kilovolt power lines. So that's not really a sub-regional planning commission issue, but it is related, and people who are concerned need to go to Austin and have your say. So that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to the information agenda, item 3.1, status reports from department heads. We've all been pretty busy with the move. I don't know if you've got anything to report today or not. No department heads? Let's move on to 3.2, status reports from elected officials. Here we go.
I know this isn't live, but hopefully some people watch it. But what y'all can help me do is get the word out. Rich, I saw your post yesterday on people dumping. We have had a slight increase on that. I'm here to say there's going to be a zero tolerance. I've already explained to my deputies and investigators, if you catch somebody, they're gonna go to jail. So I just wanna make sure that's clear and that's out there. There'll be a zero tolerance on these dumping in the county. I know we have enough to deal with debris cleanup, but that's how it's gonna be.
And I think this is live, isn't it?
No, we're recording.
Recording? Okay.
It'll be posted later, but,
Okay, good.
yeah, we're just not gonna tolerate that.
Good. Very good. Any other department heads? Or this is elected officials? Then we'll go to 3.3, status reports from liaison commissioners.
Judge, I'm waiting right now, well, we're not waiting, we were waiting to get emails up and rolling again. We're working on the ILA and stuff, with UGRA, looking at, Heather.
I'm just
Have
waiting,
we gotten any of that yet?
UGRA's attorney's working on it. They'll
Okay.
forward it to me once they have it,
So-
their side complete.
Yeah, so we're working on rearranging a few things there with UGRA in regards to the flood warning systems. As soon as we get that, then we'll bring it before the court.
Anything else?
Just hats off to Sylvia and the HR group, you know, for the move, and the IT as well. Couldn't be prouder of both of y'all. So glad that history moved out of the basement previously, so they didn't, you know, lose so much. But great job over in supporting the move for 550 Earl Garrett, and making the bold decision not to move if you don't have to. That's it.
Yeah, and mine are busy. Maintenance, as you can imagine, is very busy through all this. The event center, that staff out there has been over backwards to accommodate. I mean, they're like an adjustable ridge, fit every nut that comes along that we throw at them, and they've been very accommodating. And you know, that's all I can say. Hats off to everybody that's dealing with everything. Everybody's dealing with the hand they're dealt in one way or the other.
Anything else?
Yeah, we didn't really talk about commissioners' comments, but are we gonna have a brief moment for that?
Yes, go ahead. Incorporate them right here.
Okay. A lot of the questions that I've been asked about have been the debris.
Right.
That seems to be a tough one right now. We are still waiting for that to happen with FEMA. We haven't been able to put together anything with contractors, work on anything yet. And so that's the reason we've been getting the messaging out from last year's event on how to properly sort and stack it on the curb. The city's taking the same action we are on that. We're all kind of at a loss and a standstill right now waiting for that until we get that FEMA order passed. And we're waiting for the alphabet soup because, like I said earlier, all we have is B right now. We're waiting to get A through G is what we're looking for. And so as soon as we get that in, then I'm sure the state will start working rapidly with contractors on how we're going to handle that. If they don't get it in, then we'll have to have some serious meetings up here on figuring out what we're going to do. And I know this isn't normally under commissioner comments, but I just want to share a brief deal. Psalms 34 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit." That's kind of where we're at right now, right? We are kind of crushed in spirit, but this is the most resilient place I've ever been a part of living at in my life. And I'm proud of it. I think all you folks are doing a great job. All of our employees are doing a great job. They are working beyond work. And so, thank you.
Rich, do you mind if I follow? No, I just want to add on something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you mind? And just a little bit, I want to add to what Tom said on debris. I remember last year, we were through all this. They said we were getting to debris much quicker than they'd ever seen for hurricanes or anything else. Sometimes it has been 6 months. Last year, the contractors started picking up 3 weeks later. And so it takes time to get this all organized. And that was record pace, starting at day 21, picking up debris. So have a little patience, please. I know that's hard, but you can start putting it out to the side of the road, separated by vegetative and household items, and then appliances in separate stacks. Like Tom said, TxDOT starting this week, starting today on the TxDOT right-of-ways. I want people to just remember, and think about the power of prayer through all this. It's very powerful. Pray for everybody that's hurting, that's been disruptive, for yourselves, your family, your neighbors. Believe in the power of prayer. That's all I got.
Go ahead. I'm bumped to the end today, so
Certainly.
you go ahead.
All right. We had a informal meeting in Comfort on 25 July. Commissioner Carpenter and I, we typically join up in those meetings. We'll most likely have another one to inform the public within our precinct and his, which are joined together on 8 August at the same location at the lobby. We'll put out another announcement on his Facebook on that. We did hit on a few things, and I'm glad we talked about today the importance of the ISTAT. And one example of an impacted constituent is a large ranch holder that we have on 27 in the Guadalupe. Told him I wouldn't mention his name. He spent $60,000 in fences, put in reimbursement like he should have, like we actually hand guided him through our local office at USDA, and he's still waiting on reimbursement. All his fences are gone. $60,000 of fences completely gone. That hurts, when you spend a lot of money out of your own personal finances just to look and what am I going to do again for this year? Should I even attempt to do that? And his property kind of runs through one of our bridges. It's important, right? It's because it's our key bridge, which is still operational in Precinct 3. I feel for him, but I am grateful for Sam Womble, who's reached out to him, is going to help him do that through the ISTAT system to see if we have a little bit better, action on his behalf as a constituent. So I'm gonna take a little diversion. I talked to Dr. Chris Dreibel, who is our leading biologist at Shrine University. His recommendation is one I believe in, having already been on the river, not just for search and rescue, but on a canoe, picking up trash. I don't recommend that for everyone if you're not really good at river work, but if you are and you can help pick up that metal trash, do that. I am leaving every single piece of wood debris on the river. That was his suggestion. And that's a little different than what we did last year. I do believe he knows that soil has to be made from the wooden debris that should be left on the river. Now, can we get that chewed up from these folks that are doing it? I don't know. They were certainly resistant to it last year. But part of our, job is to advocate for that. So I'm going to push really hard all the way up through our state and elected officials nationally, our congressmen, to have that wooden debris left on the river because our soil needs it. If you've looked, it is wiped clean of soil, of trash, and the majority of plastics I picked up was a sad reminder of what happened. It was the small little woven plastic things that had a tree on it, right? That was a tree that was planted. And it had folks that from our long-term recovery group that planted those trees. They're all gone for the most part. So what is your role? What is my role? I'm starting seeding right now myself. It's going to take more than just the folks that have done that and provided all those seeds. I think everyone is going to have a role in that. So for my other ranchers and farmers that are out there, if you're burning that debris, I'm asking you to hold off on that. And you know who you are. Please don't do that until we find a way to get that back on the river or the creeks where it needs to be. That's just my recommendation. What worked so far? Radios worked. Oh boy, they did, those new radios. A lot of it, thank you to the county that provided those radios to all of our first responders. All the additional training we've had from last year to this, the additional Swiftwater folks absolutely worked. That's why we have a lot of property damage, but not a lot of loss of life. There's a reason for that. Sirens worked.
Amen.
They really did. I wish we had 20 or so, or 30 that we recommended, but we had at least 8, and awesome, they worked.
They're
and they
coming.
also,
6. They're
yes,
coming.
they are.
6.
And
Functional.
was it 6?
6
Six
that are functional. 2 yet to be
Okay.
connected.
Well, they did work. And so did the 3 down in Comfort. and people want more down there, and I know we want more all up and down the river. So very happy. The unity that I've seen amongst us, moving and not being grumpy about it. The calls being made by our judge, or our, what do we call you, the assistant judge, really have been on the money. So bravo, and I appreciate that. The EOC being stood up, the evacuations that occurred, even doing your own after actions, which was, I know, a little dicey as we're talking about doing after actions, but we learned from last year and it was evident this year. So hats off. What didn't work? Water erosion. Water will find a path, and it did. It scalped it completely. Property damage, I've heard, if you look at our county versus the other, as briefed by the governor, we are way worse than the other counties. And we're going to have to find out numbers, but it's in the hundreds, well into the hundreds of property damage, and we still have a lot to go to assess that. Mental health has been an impact, as we talked about earlier, and you need to, look into that if you have some issues. Where are all the volunteers this year, compared to last? And what I hate to say, and what I heard about was reports not only of dumping by the sheriff, but people being a little greedy and stealing when they had the opportunity. And that's been reported, but when I heard about it at the fire department I worked at, I was really upset. But I'm very grateful for the Texas Task Force 1 and 2 that supported with strike teams to be there 24/7 as our doors are open to prevent theft. So that's not cool. I'm also going to take a little diversion here with a recommendation on our basement. Once water finds a path, it does not forget it. Historically, I think our basement at the courthouse was parking. We need hard thought and hard discussion on that in the future. Should it remain parking? And should we take advantage of all the additional places that we found, that we had? How lucky are we as a county to have a place to go to and to function still? Even though we lost completely our courthouse, we need hard thought about whether we rebuild that or make that covered parking like it was initially intended to be. So no recommendation, but we need hard thought on that right now. And that's it for my report. Thank you.
Okay. Well, nobody else has mentioned it, but the burn ban remains lifted for precinct 2. I believe it's the same for the others. Yep, countywide, it's lifted. And, look, even if you're in the floodplain, there is no restriction on burning. So with Commissioner Holt's comments, about whether you want to do that or not, I guess you have the right to, though. And I've also gotten a lot of questions from people about the river itself. Is the river open? Apparently there was an incident where a law enforcement officer told a child that they could not be in the river or even on the bank. And we've checked with our sheriff's office. That wasn't us. I don't know who it was. Doesn't really matter. But the river is open. There are hazards, particularly things under the surface that you may not know about. So be very careful out there. But I talked to Kerr at UGRA over the weekend, and all their water sampling, everything's in normal range. So there are no bacteria to worry about. Whatever may have gone into the river. Solution to pollution's dilution. So
share with you that we have open sewage lines pumping into there right now.
Well, she did mention that, but bacteria counts are normal, at least in Center Point.
Okay.
So I'm going with what our official who monitors the river has told
residents know better.
So I don't know, but anyway, I was told that at least Center Point is good to go. So anyway, since July 15th, really, it's been all about the flood. And I just want to say that the response, in my opinion, was outstanding. We had first responders who were prepared. They were in place, just waiting on the call, waiting to go. And that, of course, includes all of our volunteer fire departments, the sheriff's office. Dispatch did a great job this time. Department of Public Safety, we had game wardens. I've never seen so many game wardens. And they had their boats. Our county swift water team was called out, I believe, around 2 in the morning, and they put the county swift water boat in the water. That was the one we bought about 2 years ago. So it was put in use. and they were glad to have it. Center Point Volunteer Fire Department benefited a lot last year from a lot of funding and donations anyway. We've got a large swiftwater task force. They were all called out, and they sent 2 Sherps and 2 swiftwater boats. They first went to Kerrville, Town Creek, then Buckhorn, and then back to Center Point. And the rest of the volunteer fire departments in Center Point, at least, were called out at 3 a.m. to get all of our trucks and gear out of the Kelly Street station. And we went up and down roads, warning people, telling them to get to higher ground. And good that we did. So we saw a lot of homes and roads that were flooded. The water was again over the Highway 480 bridge in Center Point. Left a lot of debris. All that's been cleaned up though. And like last year, our fire station on Kelly Street was flooded with 7 foot of water, and it did extensive damage, worse than last year because I think the flow was higher and blew out some of the walls a little bit. It's going to take more to get it repaired, and we lost a lot of equipment in there that had just been replaced. So we'll see. I also understand that Mountain Home VFD lost a truck in the response. Subsequent to the 16th, the Center Point Volunteer Fire Department was called on to deploy 2 of their all-terrain amphibious Sherps to evacuate 400 children from Camp Eagle near Divide. It took them 2 days to ferry everybody out. That was due to the washouts. They couldn't otherwise get out, but fortunately we had the right equipment. They were later deployed to Camp Wood in Real/Edwards counties. Apparently the Camp Wood is on the border of both, and that was to resupply the camp and get people in and out. So a huge benefit to having the right equipment. I've been going door to door, doing welfare checks and just trying to get information to folks along the river. And I will just say that in general, if they flooded a year ago, they probably flooded again this time, unless they elevated. And of course, we are seeing a lot of flooded areas that had nothing to do with the river backing up. It was local flooding. A lot of the private roads that have washed out was a result of a hillside and that heavy rain coming down and just washing out roads. So we're trying to help people with that. And again, I think we've all heard that there's far greater damage as a result of this flood this time. But for anybody with flood damage, we've talked about it a lot. Just go to Kerr Together at 98 Coronado. And we also have a kind of a satellite station at the historic park in Center Point. I think Robbie Pettifels mentioned that. That's at 310 FM 480. They can get you registered, and there are a lot of supplies and other materials that you might need. I mentioned that Flat Rock Park in particular was hit pretty bad. And that memorial red oak tree that was donated by Mosty Nurseries, I think it was installed last year. Anyway, it's gone. It was washed away. The rock that commemorates it's there. It survived amazingly, but the tree itself was washed away, as was the new playground equipment that was donated by Woodman Life, and that was installed just last November. I mean, it was just completely gone. And sadly, the memorial cross that we installed in June, it's been knocked over. It probably got hit by a large tree, so dented, but not gone, and it will be raised. So working on that. That cross will be put back. I mentioned the gravel. We have a resource. We had Annie's Helping Hands and JWR Welding and Construction. They had just completed removing a massive gravel pile that was just downstream from the Crossing Street Bridge, and a lot of that gravel went to a lot of good causes. Anyway, the pile is just as big as it was the last time. Well, that's debatable. It's longer and larger. It's not as high. But anyway, this time that gravel is being harvested by TNT Services, and we've already delivered a lot of loads to the Center Point School to help repair and improve the parking areas at the football stadium. We sent 20 or so loads to the future volunteer fire department station on Highway 27 and JJ Lane, and it's also being used to help repair private roads that were damaged. And if we have residents out there that want some gravel for repairing their own roads, we can make that available to you. You'll have to provide your own truck or trailer to pick it up, but right now we've got equipment down there that can load you up. And then I'm working with TNT Services, Armor Excavating, McDermott Construction, and also Bad Company Excavation. They are trying to get out and look at some of these roads. A lot of people have reported private roads and driveways that have been heavily damaged by the flood. And as long as we have volunteers with equipment and they're willing to continue, they're a resource, and we're trying to get them to the worst ones before they're gone. They can only work so long. And we also have fuel for those folks that is being provided by a fuel relief fund. They're a 501c3 organization, and that's a great cause. It's fuel for heavy equipment that's providing relief. And that's all being distributed from Ingram. Behind the Ingram VFD is where you go for that if you're working on flood response. I think I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Nothing else?
Well, there is.
Well, I'm sure.
But
this was an unpaid political announcement.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have anything for executive session?
There's one item on executive session, yes, sir.
Okay, well, this is gonna take a little,
If I could just note, Commissioner Holt had talked about what to do with the courthouse, and we do have a workshop this Wednesday, 9 o'clock, for those
Yes, ma'am.
exact issues.
I like to see the water sometimes.
okay, so we're gonna take a break. We're going to executive session.